What's up, internet? So today, back with a guide. It's been a while since I've done a guide, but Chaos Reigns is finally out, and we're starting with Cyrax because Cyrax is really cool and is one of my favorite characters. So Cyrax in this game is pretty damn good. Like, she's an insane pressure character with a lot of strike throw and really good mix, and depending on your cameo, of course. So today we're just gonna go over everything from her strings to her air strings to her specials, how to use them properly, how to do bomb loops, and I'll have some cameo recommendations at the end as well, and obviously gonna show off some combos. But first and foremost, we gotta talk about the strings. So her first string we have is her jab string. She has two of them, as you can see here. She has 1-2 and 1-1-2. So 1-2, it's a high mid. Now, first and foremost, her jab is a normal jab. It's a 7-framer, +2 on block, so you can stagger it, plus afterwards, and play some strike throw with it. Pretty nice. Some jabs are minus on block, though not too minus. But here you're plus, so you can stagger and have a nice stagger game with some of your other buttons. 1-2 gets you a knockdown, and you have hit advantage of 19. So you are plus enough to where you can chuck a bomb, because all of your bomb specials are 21 frames. So you can set up a bomb, set up a cameo to do something afterwards, and it's basically guaranteed. Obviously, when you chuck a bomb, you do have some recovery because it's in total it's going to be like a 49 frame move. So when you roll that bomb, your opponent is going to be closing the distance on you, so be mindful of where you want to place the bomb. If you put it in front of you, then they have to be careful of it in front of you, but otherwise you can set up a teleport bomb, or you can do some other things with your cameos. But the other thing that you'd use 1-2 for is that if you already had a bomb set up, you can push people into the bomb and have them explode mid-combo. So if you, let me just time it properly. So you do something like that, you can get a bounce and a pop-up from it, compared to, just getting the knockdown, which is quite nice. So it's not bad as a combo tool, but 1-1-2 is a much better combo tool, and we'll go over that in a sec. Because 1-2 on block is quite good as well. It's gapless, and it's -5. Completely safe. So you can just stagger, your jab, do a 1-2, and your opponent cannot do any reversals at all on both of the strings. So if he does his armor move, Ice Slide, no gap there. So now we're going to go and move on to 1-1-2. Very good string, very, very important, more important than 1-2. So 1-1, 7 frame into 15 frame, no gap. Second hit is -7, high mid. The last hit is 13 frames, -11, so it is unsafe. You're gonna, at most eat an 11 frame button. But typically for most characters, that's just gonna be their jab string into full combo. So this overhead at the end is unsafe, but on hit, you get this big knockdown, and you're very, very plus afterwards. So one, you can go ahead and set up a bomb. After you do that, you set up a cameo, like maybe a Kano ball or something, and you get to keep pressuring, just like so. But they are active on the ground for a really long time, so this is a very good combo tool. Oops, that was not the far bomb. There we go. So as you can see here, that popped up. And then it's also not a bad ender. Does pretty good damage. Scales okay. It does scale heavily if you do a really long combo, but if it's something short like that, it's not bad at all. So you'd land a hit, chuck a bomb, and then if you want, you could go and do a 1-1-2 just like that, and you get to keep going. But it's typically good to do that towards the end of a combo, and I'll explain why when we get into the bomb loops. But 1-1-2 is very good. It's a very important bomb loop tool. And of course, with certain cameos, you could do overhead low with it. Like Kung Lao, this is a really mean overhead low. But otherwise, it's a very good stagger string as well. It's completely safe, both 1-2 and 1-1. 1-1, you can really make them scared of the overhead, so that they keep stand blocking at the end while you're staggering. And of course, that lets you do other things like play some strike throw, even though it is -7. But very good stagger game so far with just her first jab string. So 1-2, 1-1-2. One of them is okay, doing 1-2 like this, just staggering. And then 1-1-2 is really good for bomb loops, combos, and doing some 50-50 if you have a cameo for it. Now we get to a very, very unique move for Cyrax. A classic move from MK9, I'd say. Back one. So this is an 11 frame real throw. So if he holds block here, have him do hold stance. Back one, real throw. I think I said back two. It's back one, by the way, not back two. So back one is a real throw. It side switches. Back 1-2 is a couple hits, does a little bit of damage, 80 damage. But there's a lot that you can do from this. So back one, you can special cancel into cameos like so. You can see there, did a Motaro low tail shot, and it does combo. Sometimes with me, when I play Cyrax Motaro, I'll actually set up a tail turret instead if they're expecting low tail shot afterwards. But you can get combos started like this. If you use Sonya, she can do her overhead leg grab, and then that'll combo. Or if you're using Sub-Zero, you can put them into a capture state and then set up bombs and bomb loop from there. So back one is already pretty good. But naturally by itself, if you have a bomb set up, you can just chuck people into it and then get a combo started that way. Rather than doing, just this throw, you can do a back one. So that's pretty good because if you have bombs set up, then they end up behind you compared to from like a previous combo, then back one is really good for that. But if they do duck, back one whiffs because it is a true throw. You can't block that. You have to duck it. And to complement that, you do have some really nice mids that we're going to go over soon here. But back one is just really good. Very important tool for Cyrax. You have a very good throw game because of it, and you can get combos started that way. So you force people to crouch block a lot, and you force them to micro duck a lot. So that's why she has a lot of overheads as well, because you stagger something like this and then they start stand blocking. They don't realize that you just staggered. You just hit them with a back one and you toss them into a bomb, or you toss them into a cameo, which is really good for you. Same with a back 1-2. It pushes them forward. So if you have a bomb set up like right here, you can do this. It's pretty hard though, because the timing of the bomb is basically immediately you have to hit them with the back 1-2. So that can be a little hard to do, but otherwise it's still, you gotta have that bomb set up, and either way you're gonna get some nice damage out of it. And we'll go over bomb loops more in a second. But that's gonna be it for back one and back 1-2. Very, very strong button, but that's gonna be it for her back one and back 1-2. It's a really strong tool that you have to use it wisely, because if they start micro ducking, right, you're gonna eat a full combo. But otherwise, you got to make people really scared of it so that you can start catching them out with other things like your mid strings that we'll go over shortly. So back 1-2, great side switch. It starts combos depending on your cameo. But otherwise, on hit, you don't get any hit advantage from both versions. So you do need to have something set up. You need to have a bomb down to pop them up, or you need to special cancel into a cameo to actually get plus frames afterwards. Because otherwise, it is just a side switch that puts you about character distance away. So that's going to be it for back one and back 1-2. Next is just her down one. Average down one. It has some deceptive reach to it, I'd say, compared to other down ones. Like, her hand is not even touching his leg and it's landing. So pretty normal overall, but still decent reach on it. Some characters have really stubby down ones. She doesn't. At least it doesn't feel like it's stubby. So that's it for her down one. Next is her stand 2 strings. So she has 2-1, which is a high overhead, and it pops people up. So first and foremost, stand 2 by itself, it's a 12 frame forward moving high, and it's -6 on block. So obviously it is a high, so people can duck it. But if people are pressing buttons at like mid screen at you, and you're not blocking, you're just backing up from them, stand 2 is an incredible whiff punish. It's fast, it's quick, and it leads into a pop-up if you do the overhead, or you could do the other version and just special cancel from there and get some bomb loops going. So stand 2, very, very important whiff punish button, and it's safe on block unless you're playing against like Lee Mei, who has a 6 frame punish. Now the overhead is quite good as well. So there is a gap here. This is the first string of hers that does have a gap on block, as you can see there. But the other version of her stand 2 string does complement this stand 2-1 very well, but we'll go over that in a sec. But by itself, stand 2-1 is quite good because one, it's an overhead, right? And it's a pretty fast overhead, 19 frames. So with certain cameos, after the stand 2, you can do some 50-50, get some plus frames. If you're using WoW, you do a low hat, and so on and so forth. So you can 50-50 from, or just do a low overhead, not really a 50-50, because these are fuzzy guardable, depending on how fast your cameo is. But otherwise, on hit, it's a pop-up, and you can just immediately press buttons again afterwards. You can keep doing 2-1 and just corner carry people very, very far away. You can also do jump-ins afterwards and so on and so forth. But the other thing about it is that you can hold it and spin around like a little ballerina. So that brings us to Cyrax's next mechanic, which is that certain buttons and strings, you can hold them for quite a while and let them go at any time, like so. And you can also cancel this to play pretty scary strike throw, or if they start like, maybe you're ending it with a high button on some of her strings, you start catching them out with like a mid, they start ducking. But it's really good if you have a cameo to complement them that will, or well, this one in particular, because all she can do from it is cancel. She can't actually do some of the other options from these spins, as we're going to see with the next string 2-1-3 or 2-3-4 and her stand 4. This one can only be canceled, or it can be delayed and you let it go. But that being said, the overhead is -10, unsafe. People can get a combo on you, but at most it's just going to be a jab. So 2-1 in of itself is not bad, but it's even better on hit, and it is one of your most important combo buttons. So bomb loops with 2-1. 2-1 is like kind of like for me, it's one of the staples of bomb looping in this game. So that would look something like this. You'd land a hit, you do your net, which is back forward 1. I'll talk about it later. So you land a hit, set up a bomb, and you do a 2-1. You chuck another bomb, and then you keep going from there, right? So 2-1 is really good for doing that, for bomb looping just in general, because it's very, very plus afterwards, and it's a ground bounce. So you'd get bomb loops going that way. So that's going to be it for 2-1. It's not bad at all. It's a very important string for doing bomb loops, and it's not a bad combo starter in of itself. So 2-1, you're going to need to know it. But do be careful of the overhead, because the overhead is unsafe on block. But if you have like a cameo that can delay stuff, or they can do a low, then by all means set that up and then do it. But otherwise, you're going to be setting up a bomb, and you're going to be doing 2-1 to make it safe. So now we're going to do the complementary string, which is 2-3-4. The 2-3-4 has a lot here, right? See all of this stuff. 2-3-4 hold, 2-3-4 down, down. 2-3-4 in of itself looks like this. High, mid, high. And on hit, it is special cancelable into her air down back 4. And from the air down back 4, you could do a lot of things. You can do the enhanced version, which just guarantees a bunch of bombs set up on your opponent on wake up, which is nice. So it's a good string for that, just because, it'll let you set up a bomb if you want to spend the meter to go and do that. But the other thing is that it has a lot of pushback on hit. It basically puts them full screen. So one of the things with this string is that it's very good to use it if you're zoning somebody and you catch them with your new net. So as you can see there, if someone were to get hit by this at full screen, you'd want to chuck a bomb, do this, 2-3-4, and you get a combo going that way, which is really nice. And you get really good corner carry from it, going from right to left or left to right, depending on which side you're on. The 2-3-4 is good for that. The other thing is that it's very, very staggerable. You can see here, 2-3 is only -3 on block, so completely safe. It's also gapless. So unlike 2-1, where the second hit has a gap there, if they try to armor through, you could just do 2-3 instead, and there is no gap, which is really good for you. Obviously, the last hit has a gap because the last hit is 23 frames, but there's also another thing that I need to mention about that last hit. But first, let me show you that on block. Last hit on block is +4, so you're plus afterwards, so it's going to be your turn again. So long as you don't press a really, really slow button, they won't beat you out. You can play some strike throw if you have a bomb set up afterwards, and so on and so forth. It's just really good for that. It's also a little bit of a slow string, so you can definitely do something like this and delay it and do that. So you guarantee a lot of plus frames afterwards. But the thing about the high ender is that it is not real. It's not a true string. So if I record this here, right? It's not a natural, it doesn't jail on block. Your opponent can just duck it without having to spend armor. So then they get a full combo punish on you, as you can see here. You know, they can just duck it and punish. So you have to be careful of that, which is why they gave it the ability to be canceled into this spin. Because this version of the spin is much better than the 2-1 spin. 2-1 spin is there because you delay it because it's already very, very minus on block, right? Your opponent can punish that, but if you have a bomb set up, 2-1 becomes safe. 2-3-4 by itself is already safe, and it's actually plus. But your opponent can duck it. So this spin has a lot more that you can do. So you can do 2-3-4 delay, cancel it. So if they are if they're crouching, right? They are trying to punish the last hit. Then you'd go ahead and, you know, cancel that, do a mid string, go into a bomb loop afterwards. Or you can do some of these. You can press back and do a low if they're ducking, catch them ducking. So then you'll be plus, and you can play a little bit of wake up, not too much though, because you're only plus 11 afterwards and you're right next to them. So it's not like you can really set up a bomb from here, but you can play some nasty strike throw on wake up. And on top of that, if they just stand block or if they crouch block, right? If they just block it, you can press throw and you'll get your back one from it. So if you have a bomb set up behind you and you do 2-3-4 and you're spinning around, you can go ahead and actually press throw, whichever your throw button may be, and you will throw them into the bomb and you'll get your back one, like so. And you can do throw and press 2 afterwards to get this little version of back one where, you know, she hits them a couple times. Now the other thing about that is that you can also, of course, go into a Kameo and get a combo started that way. So this spin from 2-3-4 is actually pretty scary. It's gonna force people to start ducking a lot because it has 2 highs that can come out of it that are pretty bad for your opponent. You'll either get plus frames or you're gonna throw them into a bomb or side switch them and get plus frames afterwards, you know, depending on what your Kameo is. So they're gonna start ducking a lot, and if they start ducking, you either cancel, get them with a mid starter, excuse me, or you just go into the low by pressing back. But otherwise, it's a very good, very staggerable string. The on hit, you can special cancel into a down back 4, or you use it for full screen combos like I showed earlier with this one if you catch somebody with your new net. Just like this. Oops, mistimed it a bit. But you got the idea. So now we can move on to her back 2. So back 2 is a pretty cool take on the classic back 2 that Cyrax had in MK9 and MKX. The big overhead 2-hit bomb. And here it pops up and you can jump cancel straight into something. And then from there, you get a nice bomb loop and combo going, which is always good. And on block, it is completely safe. You can hit them from downtown and it's only -8. Now it is a 28 frame startup, so someone can just jab you right out of it if they see it and they react to it. But otherwise, -8. It can be up blocked as well. You'll see right here. But it's still safe even if they up block it because of the second hit. And obviously it's a pop-up. So pretty scary button. It has a lot of reach. Again, if your opponent is like pressing buttons at full screen, or not full screen, but they're pressing buttons just around here at mid screen, and you don't want to punish with a stand 2, you could just go straight into back 2, like so, and pop them up that way. You can also do some weird stuff with cameos if you'd like. It's not really worth it, but like you can just do the first hit, which is the overhead, like so, and then put them into a mix afterwards, which is kind of funny. But it's not like super good. I don't really recommend it. Just an idea though. But yeah, back to pretty good overhead launcher. So like, sorry Sub-Zero, your overhead launcher is unsafe, but this one completely safe. And on top of that, back to 4. Back to 4. It's a 50-50. This one's a 25 frame low that has some pretty good pushback, and with your, depending on your Kameo, you can actually get a combo out of it. So this 50-50 is incredibly scary with like a Kameo like Sonya, because she combos off this low version. And you do have to press it pretty fast, by the way. That's the timing for it. So you hit them with the overhead, you get a pop-up, you get a combo. You don't even need to jump cancel the overhead to get a combo. You can just start pressing buttons on the ground. You hit them with the low, you need the Kameo, you need a Kameo to get a combo from it. But it's basically the same exact animation as back 2. It's a true 50-50 that's really scary. And obviously, you've got a bomb set up. And just like that, if you have a bomb set up, then the low becomes really scary because now you can just chuck them into a bomb. So typically in that situation, you'll have a bomb set up from your teleport like this, and then you'll 50-50 them, and then you'll get a pop-up afterwards. But we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about this teleport later. So back to 4, very, very scary button. Now, back to 4 on block is unsafe. It's -12. You are eating a full combo if they make the read and they guess correctly on the 50-50. But otherwise, again, you have a bomb set up like behind them. Then it becomes safe because they have to respect the bomb and your plus afterwards, so you get to pressure some more. So you need those bombs to make this unsafe stuff safe. And that's why she has a lot of unsafe strings, because you're going to have a bomb set up on them anyway. So the unsafe stuff becomes plus. But that's going to be it for back 4. Very, very scary button. Next, it's her forward 2. So forward 2 and forward 2-1 is an incredible string. So forward 2 is a 3-hit mid with a lot of forward momentum. So again, another good whiff punish button that reaches further than stand 2. So if you're afraid of, my stand 2 might whiff while they're pressing buttons, just do forward 2. It is 20 frames, so this is a very slow mid, but that's the thing about it. It's a really good mid. If this were any faster, it'd be way more busted than it kind of already is. So forward 2 on block is completely safe. Forward 2-1, it's an overhead ender, also completely safe. There is a gap there, as you'll see right here. Right here. There's a gap there. But otherwise, you could 50-50 people with it. You can also just special cancel the forward 2 early in between hits. Like so, if they're expecting, the rest of the hits afterwards, you can just chuck a bomb down, and some people, they don't react to that because they're so focused on forward 2 and getting like a armor through it or something. So some people, they do not react to stuff like that. And on top of that, you can, like I said, 50-50 with certain cameos. The other thing about it is that it's a great armor break button. So if your opponent, you get a knockdown on them, you really want to meaty with forward 2, because if you do meaty with forward 2, then you'll get to armor break them pretty much all of the time, so long as you know your timing and you're not a moron like me. Like right there, you get an armor break, and then obviously from that armor break, you can go into a full combo bomb loop, put them in the same situation again, put a bomb on the ground, do a forward 2, and so on and so forth. So really, really strong button in of itself. And the ender, completely safe, though there is a gap, and you can 50-50 from it. And if you do land the overhead, you're just very, very plus afterwards. You're plus 35 frames. So that it doesn't really guarantee a bomb, because again, one bomb is about 40 frames total. So your opponent can just get up and hit you, and if they hit you, the bomb goes away. But you have a lot of plus frames to set something up. And obviously, depending on your Kameo, you might have a really good thing to set up or something kind of meh. But either way, very, very good string. And if you have a bomb set up as well, it's kind of hard to time, but 2-1 will combo with the bomb. Like so. And you can bomb loop that way. So very scary if you have a bomb, because even if they block the overhead, you're going to be plus afterwards. And you'll get to put them into another mix. So forward 2, really good button. Forward 2-1, also very, very good. And on top of that, armor breaks, and it's a good whiff punish. So next we have her stand 3 string. It's a stand 3-2. So it's 3 highs, and her stand 3 is actually unsafe. Stand 3 by itself, even though it's a pretty fast high button. So obviously it's high, people can duck it. But it's pretty fast at 9 frames. And it's -9. So that is punishable by everybody, just by a jab only. But it's a pretty fast button. So if people are actually doing jump-ins, stand 3 does reach pretty well enough to hit people out of the air. You can see right here. Just like that. So you can do stand 3, do stand 3-2, and get tons of plus frames. So that's the other thing about stand 3-2, is that yes, all hits are high. All 3 hits are high. But on hit, it is so strong. You catch somebody with this, guaranteed bombs. Guaranteed bombs all day. So you put them at full screen and you just start throwing bombs. Don't stop throwing bombs, alright? So 3-2 is really good, because you're plus like 60 frames afterwards. It's also a good combo ender if you can end a combo with it, because you get such good positioning on your opponent, and you're so plus that you can just start throwing bombs and you can start zoning them with the back forward 1 and keep bomb looping them from full screen essentially. So 3-2 is really strong. Now on block, the second hit is also safe. It's very safe actually. You're plus 20 afterwards. So that does guarantee it's your turn again. You can use that to, get away a bit and then chuck a bomb. You can just chuck a bomb straight up because there's a lot of pushback, so they have to spend all of your recovery time after you throw a bomb just dashing up and getting away from the bomb and closing distance to you. So overall 3-2, really, really good. It's also really good for comboing into your air down back 4, because that's something you want to actually combo into a lot if you want to set up bombs, that is, because you're so plus afterwards, right? Just like that, you just net them to the ground. So 3-2 is good for that because it doesn't scale very badly, like at all. This string does not scale much, so you'd adjust your bomb loops to do a 3-2, and you could do air buttons a lot more easily compared to if you were doing other things. So 3-2 is very good for getting into an enhanced down back 4 while still getting over 30% damage and getting those bombs set up. And just like that. So that's what comboing with 3-2 looks like. 31%, and then you'd get more bombs set up and you get to keep them in the vortex. So that's what 3-2 is really good for. It's good if you want to set up a combo that goes into this so that you can get more bomb setups going without sacrificing too much damage, because Cyrax is, like, compared to the rest of the cast, low damage, but all of her damage just comes from pressuring people with stuff like bomb setups. So her doing like 30 to 35 is still good, but obviously she's not a super damaging character in that regard. Her damage comes from bomb setups. Next we have her second mid string, her second mid starter. So she does have 2 mid starters. She has the forward 2 that we just went over, but she also has back 3. So back 3 is a 12 frame mid. It's not really advancing at all, right? It's pretty stubby, like kind of. That's because there's no forward momentum on it. But it's a mid-high mid string, back 3-3-4. And there is a gap there at the end. As you can see right there. The back 3-3 in of itself is, again, really good staggerable button. Back 3 on block, it's only -1. He has to stop sliding around. Back 3 by itself is -1, and it's a 12 frame mid. So you can just stagger back 3 and strike throw people. Back 3-3 is -7, and the second and the follow-up is 10 frames. So they can't armor through back 3-3. So you can just stagger people with back 3 a lot and really check them with it, because if they start ducking things like back 1, they start ducking, these spins, and they're just crouching without blocking, then you throw out a back 3 and you catch them, and you go into a full combo bomb loop again. So back 3 is really important for checking people who are micro ducking, because it's so fast and it is just really, really strong that even if they block, it's basically your turn still if they just block back 3 because you're only -1. They have to look out for the second hit, which jails on hit and jails on block. So it's not like they can do much anyways if they read, oh, she's going to do the mid, because you can just do back 3 and then throw them afterwards. So you got really nasty strike throw with this mid. And on top of that, on hit, back 3 3 4 is a side switch. So if you have a bomb set up behind you, you do a back 3 3 4 and scoop them into it. It's mainly really good in the corner because that's mostly where you'll have bomb set up. But if you have a bomb really close like that, then back 3 3 4 will work just as well. But that's kind of a hard situation to get into because it kind of requires you to roll a bomb right in front of them and they can punish you for that. But it's a good side switch combo starter if you have bombs set up, which you should have bombs set up. But other than it being a pretty good stagger string and having a gap at the end, the last hit on block is also -14. So if they just block the last hit, then you're going to eat a combo. So that's why you really have to stagger these first 2 hits a lot. Then once you do land that hit, if you have a bomb set up, go for the full string. If you don't have a bomb set up, then you just do back 3 3 into net and you do a bomb loop that way. So back 3 3, super strong string. Use it a lot, especially when people are up close, because Cyrax is one of those characters where your opponent has to micro duck a lot. Otherwise, you get away with just everything. So back 3 is a very good check button like that. Next, another crouch normal, her down 3. 11 frame low, -11, so it's punishable by other like down 3s, down 4s, down 1s. But the thing about this is that it has really good range. So most of the casts can't actually punish you for landing, for them blocking a down 3. So it has really good reach, and that's really all there is to say about it. Just really good far-reaching down 3. Next we have her stand 4. So her stand 4 brings back the unique mechanic of spinning around. You can see there. But it's the same kick from the end of 2 3 4. So special cancelable into this. Puts people essentially at full screen. It's very, very plus if you land it, so you can start chucking bombs afterwards. It is, a 16 frame high, so people, they can just duck it pretty easily. Which is why when you start spinning around, you gotta use those cancels and catch them with a low. Or, you go for the throw if they're crouch blocking. Or you go into the low like that. So stand 4 is unique in that you do have all those options from it. If you have a bomb setup, they have nothing to do other than to respect the fact that you can spin around in front of them and there's a bomb setup, like so. And if you do have a bomb setup, they're forced to block. They can't just duck neutral, they can't just do a neutral duck, right? So throw them, and now you have an unblockable bomb. So on wake up, if you're very, very plus and they are right next to you and you have a bomb down, do the spin and throw them. It's an unblockable bomb essentially. They just have to eat it. Now, are you going to get a lot of damage? Not really. It depends on the bomb loop you do. Obviously, some bomb loops are going to be doing lots of damage, but some of them are just more for setup. So it depends on the route you want to go after this. But otherwise, stand 4, really scary on wake up if you have bomb set up, because even if they wake up with like armor, right? What if you just let go at the same time you let go of stand 4, right? Your bomb goes off. That's an armor break, and it's a pop-up. So people do have to respect this a lot. And of course, you have all these options that I went over earlier. You can throw them around and cancel it and do all this stuff. And obviously on block, +4. So yeah, that's her stand 4. You can't really end combos with it to do stuff like this. It's really hard to do that because it pushes people so far back mid-combo compared to other strings, right? So if I did something like this, I wanted to end it like that, I'd have to end it very, very early to get that bomb set up, which is why I said earlier, doing combos where you explode people with 3-2 is the best way to get into a jump down back 4. Because most combos, if you want to go for damage and get the setup, they get knocked back too far away from stand 4. But yeah, otherwise, it's a very scary thing for your opponent to see, especially if they have a bomb under their feet. Because it's just it's guaranteed. They just have to eat that throw. Or if they start micro ducking, then, or neutral ducking, excuse me, then hit them with the low. So this in of itself is a mix, and it's a very, very scary one. So yeah, that's going to be it for her stand 4, and in a sense, 2, 3, 4, because everything I said about stand 4, you can do from 2, 3, 4. Now, finally, it's just her sweep and her down 4. Sweep is really good, 12 frames, good reach on it, and it's 11 frames of hit advantage, so on wake up, you can make something happen. It reaches very far, and on top of that, it's got great pushback on block, and it's -3. And then her down 4 is also good. More reach than her down 3, you can see here. She really extends the leg. And on block, it is -11, just like down 3. So down 4, pretty good as well. If your opponent is too far to be hit from a down 3, hit them with down 4. Most characters aren't going to be able to hit you with their own down 4 afterwards and get a punish, unless it's like Havoc. So now we're moving on to her air strings. And the first one is jump 1, 2. This is probably the most important one because it's this ground bounce. And if you played MKX, MK9, you'll notice that it looks a lot like a neutral jump punch. And essentially that's what it is. It spikes them straight down, and it's really good for bomb looping. You need to do 1, 2 for any of her most basic bomb loops. You can see here, you do stuff like that, and that's how you bomb loop, because you need to do jump 1, 2, because it spikes them straight down onto the bomb. And the other thing about jump 1, 2 is that you can do it multiple times in a bomb loop, and it's fine. Like, if I do something like this, you jump 1, 2, other jump 1, 2, he was a little too low there. But it'll keep spiking people to the ground, as long as you hit, as long as you hit them in the air. And it will ground bounce them at basically the same height every time. Though they do start to, get lower and lower and lower as you get more damage and more hits up on the combo counter. Next is her 2, 1 and 2, 1, 2. This one is okay. It's not bad. 2, 1, 2 looks like this. Lots of plus frames, and you put them at full screen. So obviously, you know what that means. You're getting plus frames and they're full screen. You're going to set up bombs afterwards. And it's a very damaging combo ender as well. As you can see here, it does a lot of damage just from 6 hits. But also you can just do stuff like this. Do a jump 2, 1. Oops. Let's do that again. Jump 2, 1 and go into ground strings afterwards. So you can use it to go into ground strings, but you can't do it like at the beginning of a combo and land a net afterwards. You have to use the net before the jump 2, 1 into ground strings, because there's too much gravity after you do it. So that is something to keep in mind. You can't like go, oh, I hit them with this first, so I'm going to use my net later and set up bombs. You can't really do that, because unless they're in the corner and you got someone else, a Kameo, to pop them up some more, net is always going to whiff. So if you're going to use 2, 1 in a combo, you kind of want to hit that net first, and then, start bomb looping by going into 2, 1, ground strings, and a bomb explodes, set up another bomb, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. But that's it for 2, 1. It's a pretty good ender, gives you really good positioning, and you get to set up bombs afterwards. And you can use it mid-combo, but it's not as good as doing, a jump 1, 2. Jump 1, 2 is way better for bomb looping. And lastly, we have her jump 3, 4, 3. 3, 4, 3. Very good ender. It doesn't do as much damage as jump 2, 1, 2. As you can see here. 2, 1, 2 will get more damage. But the difference is that jump 3, 4, 3, it gives you way more hit advantage. You're plus 32 and you're at full screen, so that just guarantees bombs compared to doing the jump 2, 1, 2, because if your opponent has like a teleport and you're chucking bombs, these bombs don't mean anything. You do it from a 3, 4, 3, then it's a lot harder for them to get away from these bombs because you have more hit advantage compared to jump 2, 1, 2. So that's really why it's good. It's a great combo ender as well, because It just guarantees bombs at full screen or nearly full screen. The other thing about it is that it's good for going into her down back 4 in the air. So you can do that with jump 2-1, but 3-4 will actually net you a little more damage. As you can see there. So that's really why it's good, because if you want to do a combo that's also going to get you this setup with her down back 4, then 3-4 is better than jump 2-1. But that's going to be it for her air strings and her normals. Now we can talk about her specials. So her first special is back forward 1. It's capture foam. This is the new Cyrax net, so it's a high. And at full screen, it is a capture state. It's basically just a better Sub-Zero ice ball. Like, actually, you hit anybody at any distance with this thing, you can just dash up and start comboing them. Sub-Zero can't do that. So it's literally just a better ice ball. And obviously with it being, a capture state from full screen and you can zone with it, it's your main combo tool. You land a single hit from any string, so long as the string isn't 2-1, because then you have to go into another string after 2-1 to hit them with the net. Here, let me do it properly. Just like that. And then after you catch them with the net, you start setting up bombs and then you bomb loop them. And as I showed earlier, you catch someone at full screen, you can bomb loop them like so. And get a full screen combo that way. It's pretty nasty. So back forward 1 is very, very important because it lets you start bomb loops. Now you can't, do 2 back forward 1s in a single combo. And obviously, real quick, on block, super, super unsafe. But what you can do instead of 2 back forward 1s in a combo is that the second one does have pretty nice pushback, right? So you could do that, and then you can chuck another one if you set up another bomb like this. Do it properly. You can push them into bombs like that. And it actually doesn't scale too badly mid-combo. But what you can do is you can do regular back forward 1 into enhanced back forward 1, and that does work. So enhanced back forward 1 is just the classic Cyrax net. And it is pretty good because 1, it's a mid. It hits mid. And it pushes them into the corner. And you get a lot of hit advantage afterwards. So you can start mixing them in, your little ballerina spins. You can put bombs down. So it's a really good mid just by itself. But also, it eats through other projectiles. People have a hard time jumping over it. It is jumpable, I believe. It's just really hard to. It's kind of like a Quan Chi enhanced skull. It's just really, really hard to jump it. But it eats projectiles. You can use it after you used a regular back forward 1 in a combo. And if you're at the corner, then it actually just works like a regular Cyrax net. So you could do something like goo into another string, into that, into another string, and keep going. Which is pretty nutty because it allows for some really funny corner setups that I'll show later. But as you can see there, you cannot do 2 enhanced back forward 1s. So this is just a crazy projectile because at full screen, right, it helps you win fireball wars. If they're at the corner, it guarantees a combo, like essentially a combo and a bomb setup. And if they're not at the corner, you just get them into the corner for the cost of 1 bar of meter. You can just, if you don't want a bomb loop after landing this and you want to put them into the corner, you do that. And obviously the other thing about it is that it's a really good combo ender, the enhanced version, because you can get really good positioning afterwards. So you might do a bomb loop and then you want to get them into the corner. Maybe they're close enough to the corner where it'll pin them against the wall and you can get an extend. Go for it. That can look something like this. And it pins them to the wall and you get to keep going in the corner. There's so much you can do with back forward 1 and enhanced back forward 1 that it's just insane. This is ice ball but better in every single way. That's gonna be it for back forward 1. Incredibly important. You can use it as a combo ender, the enhanced version, to get really good positioning. You can obviously set up bombs from it. And if they go over a bomb, I believe it will pop them up like so, and then she will appear a bit earlier. So you can also get combos that way, or bomb pop-ups that way. If you put like this down here, You hit them with that, then that little combo. Oh, obviously MK, sometimes your character's facing the wrong way, which makes you lose the combo. But yeah, back forward 1, incredibly important, really strong. Next we have her bombs. So she has 3 versions, down back 2. All of them are 21 frames and they all explode on the same frame at 117. Sometimes a little bit faster depending if your opponent is near them, I believe. So if your opponent gets hit by a string and they land like on a bomb, the bomb will explode a little faster, as you can see here. It's going to go at 115 compared to 117 if the opponent is not near them. They all have the same recovery of 26 frames as well. So you have close, down back 2, down forward 2 is mid, and then you have very far, which is down back forward 2. So down back forward 2 can be a little finicky at times. Sometimes you'll only get a down forward 2 even though you've pressed down back forward 2. So just be mindful of that. But the main thing with the bombs is obviously you need them for bomb loops. It's her main pressure tool. If you don't have a bomb set up under your opponent when you're doing block strings, you're kind of screwed. So they're very important in that regard. You need to have bombs set up, because if you don't, then Cyrax can have a tough time getting things started and, you know, putting people into the vortex. But that's why she has so many capture states and plus frame moves and plus frame knockdowns, because you're basically guaranteed having a bomb set up at all times from any combo. But yeah, the bombs are the most important thing about her. You always have to have bombs out. And they're also a little tricky because you can hold circle, right? After you throw a bomb, you press circle, it becomes a dud, and it doesn't explode. So you throw a bomb out during a string, right? They're thinking, oh, it's gonna pop me up, or it's gonna explode, I should block. They hold block, nothing happens, and you throw them. Things like that, where they'll think, oh, the bomb is gonna explode, but it doesn't. So you can press circle to turn them into duds and just be really tricky with them and really make your opponent scared of them. And that might even let you chuck another bomb out because they're busy holding block. They think it's gonna blow, doesn't explode, and you've already done another block string into another bomb that will explode. So really trick people with that stuff, because it just helps add on to your pressure and the stress of playing against Cyrax. So every bomb, very important. You can see all of them here as well. Now the enhances are also the same. You just enhance them and you get this bomb. It's a saw blade drone that flies up into the air, it pops up your opponent, and it follows them around wherever they are, no matter where they go. You can see there, it just rolls right up to them, and it tracks onto them. So if they're walking, then it will follow them around still. So this bomb is it's just really good. Like, you can only have one of them out on screen at a time, one enhanced bomb. But it's just really good because it's a guaranteed bomb setup on them, where if they're blocking, they have to continue blocking afterwards because it's gonna pop me up, and it does 3 hits. So another thing about it is that on wake up, if you set up this bomb, you armor break people. Not only, I mean, typically you will armor break people just by having a bomb set up and doing buttons, but this bomb in particular pops people up, and it does 2 hits. No, it is 3 hits. Sorry. But yeah, it does 3 hits. That's gonna armor break any character if you're doing strings at the same time. So you kind of want to spend the meter just to set up this bomb as much as possible. At least I would recommend doing so, because it's just really strong, and you get a combo out of it, you get pressure, and it follows people around. If you get hit during the startup of your bomb setups, then the bomb does go away, as you can see there, if it doesn't finish rolling out. So that is the one caveat to having bombs out. But if they hit you after the bomb is set up, it stays there, and they still have to respect it. So they have to be very, very early with their hits for you to lose out on a bomb setup, which typically never happens. Unless you're playing against a character with a teleport, then, you know, like Noob Saibot, he's gonna backpack you and slam you into the ground immediately as you chuck a bomb out. So do be mindful of that, but otherwise, super strong stuff here. You need to know how to bomb loop, you need to know how to do each version of the bombs, because depending on what you hit people with at the start of a combo, at the start of a bomb loop, that changes which bomb you need to throw out. So back 3-3, I can still do that and it'll work, right? The far bomb is your safest bet from any string, because if you go into 2-1 afterwards, it's guaranteed that that bomb will hit. But if you're going for other routes, then you have to be mindful. Like if I wanted to do a forward 2 into bomb as my bomb loop, like this, then I can't do very far, because if I do very far, it's too far away. So do be mindful of what bomb loop you're gonna go for before you even start chucking bombs out. But either way, let's say you do mess it up and you get down forward 2 instead of down back forward 2, then you just do a forward 2 and special cancel into a bomb afterwards, and you can keep bomb looping that way. Let's say you get down back forward 2, then do a 2-1 and it'll bomb loop that way. So even if you do mess up the bomb that you want, there's a million ways to adjust very easily on the fly with Cyrax, to the point where you're gonna get a bomb loop going no matter what, and you're gonna put them in the vortex. So just be mindful of which bomb you're using and go, okay, that bomb is right under my opponent, I should just do a forward 2 and then special cancel into a bomb. Or, oh, that bomb is really far away from them, I should do a 2-1 and push them into it, or do a 1-2 and push them into it. Like, you see what I'm getting at? So yeah, just be mindful of that. Of course, on knockdown, you can end combos early just to set up a bomb like so. And that in of itself is also really strong and really good. So be mindful of those things. Really pay attention to which bombs you want, which ones you want to use. Okay, because they're essential. All her specials are essential, actually. One of the few characters where you use basically everything. Next is her teleport bomb. Down back 3. You can see here, the position she teleports from, she'll leave a bomb there. And that's good for a lot of things because, one, like I keep showing earlier, if you're going for a bomb loop from full screen, you can do stuff like that and then get a bomb loop going that way. But on block, it's really disgusting. So on block, if you have a bomb set up, you can just do that into teleport, keep going, set up another bomb, keep going with it like that, right? Now, obviously, there's gaps there where your opponent can armor or they can jab out. But if they jab, you have the bomb set up already. So if they go for a button, they could get popped up for it. So they kind of have to use armor. So you're going to drain your opponent's resources very, very fast from doing stuff like having a bomb set up, do this teleport, push them into the bomb again. And you keep going like that. Now, the thing about down back 3 as well is that you can only have one bomb set up from it at a time. So you can see there's only one on the left side from when I initially teleported. Let me actually do it here so you guys can see. You can see only one bomb. So that is something to be mindful of, but that's why you gotta use it in conjunction with your other bombs while you are pressuring people in this bomb vortex. Okay? So very good for keeping people in the vortex like this. Be mindful of which bomb you have down on the ground currently as well. Because if you think, oh, that one's the bomb that I rolled out, right? And you go for a teleport and a bomb doesn't come out, then you've kind of screwed your vortex up. But otherwise, really nasty stuff, very strong stuff. You have a bomb set up, teleport, keep them in the loop as long as possible. And, you know, obviously hit them with that back 1 so they get popped up. Really make them scared of doing anything, right? It's very hard for your opponent to get out of there. So down back 3, very important for a lot of things. Mobility and keeping people in that bomb loop vortex. Just like this. So yeah, down back 3, you need to know that. Need to know what you're doing. And much like the rest of the bombs, you can turn it into a dud by pressing circle. Just like that. You see there? It didn't even explode. So when it's a dud, that obviously means a couple things as well. When you're putting people into this vortex, you can do this. It doesn't explode, then you throw them. And if you have a bomb close enough or you timed it right, they get popped up that way. So just some more stuff to get you thinking about what you want to do when you're playing Cyrax. Next, we have to go over down forward 3 before we talk about the enhanced versions. Because down forward 3 is also missed walk. It's just that you don't leave a bomb behind. And real quick, I do want to point out the frame data is wrong here. These are the exact same startup and recovery as each other. They don't change like it says here. What it's actually doing is it's actually looking at it's basically measuring the time for something else. I don't know what it is, but that's wrong. Even in the menu, The startup times are wildly different for some reason, and I don't know why. But they're both very fast teleports. One of them leaves a bomb, the other one doesn't. And with that, if your opponent thought you left a bomb and they're not paying attention, then you can leave a bomb afterwards and teleport to the other side. But that's her down forward 3. It's just the same thing, but you don't leave a bomb behind. Now we can talk about the enhanced version. So down back 3 enhanced, you slide backwards, you leave a bomb. That's good for a lot of things. If you're near the corner, like the actual corner of the map, not like the corner of the screen, you can slide back and press up and you'll run up the wall and you'll have a bomb set up behind them and you can push them into it. If they're pressing buttons and you're near the corner but they're not, not pressuring you on block, doing this, leaving the bomb behind, most characters will have enough forward momentum to where they will be in the position of the bomb and you will side switch over them and you can start pushing them into that bomb and looping them and keeping them in that bomb vortex. So you can kind of bait people into the corner with it, which is very nice, and get some bomb loops going. So that's pretty good in of itself. It also gets you away from your opponent if you want to play keep out like this and have a bomb set up in the middle of the screen. You can also do down forward 3. So down forward 3 also leaves a bomb behind and you will go forward. You will actually go past your opponent. You can cross them up. Now they can hit you out of it during the startup, but once you've disappeared off screen, they can't interrupt this move. It's uninterrupted. So again, if you're not near the corner and you don't want to, jump over your opponent who's pressing buttons and they're going to land on that bomb, you can just do a down forward 3. Now you're behind them and you get a combo that way, which is really nice and very, very good. So, that could look something like this. So if he does something like that and you jump out this way, he's on the bomb and he's in the corner. Now, depending on the distance of them, you can do something like that and then you start looping them that way. So that's like the general idea of how you want to use this enhanced move. Other than obviously going through like projectiles and closing the distance that way. But even then, it's like, why would you use it for that? Just use the normal version. He'll always appear behind your opponent to, anti-zone. But yeah, if your opponent has got you in the corner or they're trying to just press buttons at you, just slide right through them, punish them, get a bomb loop going. It's incredibly good. So that's it for the enhanced down back 3, down forward 3. When you're in the corner, press up to run up the wall. If you don't want to run up the wall, you don't have to press anything other than enhanced down back 3. And also you could even net people like that during their recovery if they're pressing a really slow button that has a lot of recovery. Down forward 3 enhanced, if you land in the corner, you can press up and run up the wall that way as well. So again, if your opponent is pressing buttons and you're outside of the corner and you end up inside, you don't want to be inside of the corner. Let me do that again. Then you can do down forward 3, go past them and then do a flip right back onto them and hit them with a jump in, like so. So either way, just as long as you're near the corner of the map or the corner of the stage, if you press up from either down back 3 enhanced or down forward 3 enhanced, you can run up that wall and flip over them. And one more thing about the enhanced down back 3 and down forward 3 is that if you press up and 3, you can do a dive kick and just hit your opponent that way. And this dive kick, I believe, is also safe. So after you run up the wall, you're neither plus nor minus after the dive kick. So you can start pressing buttons. Just press a fast one, because if your opponent presses a fast button, then you might just hit trade. But yeah, that dive kick is safe. And on hit, this is what it looks like. So if your opponent were pressing buttons and you did that, you get a nice big knockdown. But now we're going to get into a pretty meh move. So this move is her up plus stance switch. You can see it right here near the corner. Now, near corner means just like the corner of the screen compared to the other one. So near the corner of the screen, you can press up plus stance switch and you'll do this little flip. If your opponent is like, again, pressing buttons at you, then you can just like flip over them, which it's kind of meh, because if your opponent is pressing buttons at like mid-screen like this, you're not near any corners, then you just whiff punish them with a stand 2 or forward 2, and you get a bomb loop going that way, you get a full combo. This is like, depending on what they're pressing, you're either going to land fast enough to where you can hit them with a jump in and go into a full combo, or you're just barely gonna miss out on your chance and then you don't get a combo. So this isn't too good. The only like real thing I can see it being used for is when you are in the corner of the stage, where you don't need to spend any meter to, do the slide forward. You can just jump back and jump over them if they are pressing buttons and they've given you enough space to actually go and do that. So yeah, that's pretty whatever move, in my opinion. Not super good, not really bad. Like, I understand the mobility aspects of it, but yeah, if someone is shooting a projectile at you though, it can be useful sometimes. Where some characters, they have big recoveries on them and you can just jump back and you're basically right on top of them. But again, it's like you're jumping over a projectile. You can react to a projectile with a down forward 3 or a down back 3 and punish them that way. So it's just another mobility tool. It's not super strong, not good, not bad. It is nice to have. Next is her down back 4. So down back 4, it's this flip kick. It's a pretty fast move, 13 frames. Hits a lot. And the enhanced version is her armored move. So it's your armored reversal, and it's a pretty crazy one. Because if your opponent, typically with armored moves, right? If the one hit of armor is broken, then the move just becomes like the regular version, right? You just get the flip and you get the plus frames. Here, however, if your opponent, if you armor through their strings, you still get the dive kick at the end, which has really crazy corner carry. You could just shove somebody into the corner with it, and you're plus 43 afterwards, which guarantees a bomb. So that is pretty crazy. This thing is super plus, and you get a guaranteed bomb afterwards. So very, very strong armored move. That's the main use of it. You could also end combos with it and get some damage, but the thing about ending combos with it is that you don't get, nearly as many plus frames as you would just doing it raw like this, because there's going to be a lot of gravity on your opponent. So if you tried to end a combo with it like this, you wouldn't be as plus. Like there, I'm only plus 11, so you can't really make much happen if you choose to end combos with it, which is why it's better to just end your combo by pressing a button and throwing a bomb rather than special canceling with a Sawtooth kick. But that's gonna be it for down back 4. It's a 13 frame armored move. That's the most important thing about it, is that it's your armored reversal on wake up or in between gaps in your opponent's strings. You go ahead and use this, and you have insane corner carry. So if you want to use the enhanced version to end combos and put your opponent in the corner and set up a bomb, by all means go for it. But just using the regular one to end combos, it's not really super good unless it does mean you will win the match. And finally, we have her final special. So this is down back 4, so still the same input, but in the air. It's called friction assist snare. So she does have some strings that puts her in the air. It's mainly just her stand 4 and 2, 3, 4. Those will put her in the air, and then she'll get this green version of it. It does not have armor, first and foremost. This is a completely separate move, and she'll do this flip and slam them onto the ground. You're about mid-screen afterwards, and you're plus 28, so you can roll a bomb right in front of you. If you want, just position your bombs however you'd like. And it's just really good to get plus frames and get positioning and set up vortexes like this. If your opponent is not being careful, you can catch them out and do some nasty setups on them. But the regular version by itself is really good. You can just do a jump in, down back 4, get a ton of plus frames that way, and then start setting up bombs. The other thing about it is that the enhanced version is really good. She shoots this net down on them, and you get to set up so many bombs, like as many as you want really, and it leads to some really crazy corner combos if you combo it with, down back or back forward 1 enhance, because you get to get a lot of damage, a lot of bomb setups, and you get to go ahead and put them in the vortex afterwards. You can also hit people who are netted like this, but it has to be with lows, as you can see there. So you can actually just net someone to the ground and start like sweeping them. You can use Jack's ground pound as well, and he will hit them on the ground, and he'll actually keep slamming afterwards because it doesn't count as him hitting them, which is kind of funny. So he'll hit them while they're while they're stuck on the floor, and then he'll keep on doing ground pounds afterwards. So if you want to use jacks with Cyrax, you can go ahead and do that as well. But otherwise, typically you're just going to be setting up bombs like so. And that's literally just an unblockable bomb setup, by the way. Like, actually, it's unblockable. You set that up, and then once they're out of there, they have to block the bomb, right? And because they're blocking the bomb, just do a back one. They have to eat a bomb afterwards. So that's another reason why it's super strong. Just toss out 2 bombs like so. If they don't block, they get popped up. If they do block, however, then they will still get hit by a bomb because you're going to hit them with a back one if you time it right. So be careful of that, because right there I messed up my back ones badly. So I would have gotten punished there. But otherwise, it's a very good ender and setup tool so that you can go ahead and make something happen with a throw or with a cameo, do some low overhead, and you'll get a pop-up. And because you can set up 2 bombs out of it, they're blocking for a while, right? 2, and we'll do this, push them into another bomb, and you keep going, keep them in the vortex. So incredibly strong move, like really strong. Now it does cost 2 bars a meter. That is the thing about it. But it's really worth it because you can just set up so many bombs that you keep them in the vortex for a really long time. So do be mindful that it does cost 2 bars, but really it's worth it. Very, very worth it. That's going to be it for her specials. Now we're going to talk about her real quick. Her fatal blow. It's normal. It's got good range on it though. Like really good range. Like it's kind of like Baraka's where it's deceptively long range. You can do it from like around here and it just barely misses, but a little bit further than like mid-screen. You can catch people with that. And it's very hard for people to punish as well if you use it at like max range. Now I'm going to talk about bomb looping and just the basics of it, because that's very, very important with Cyrax. So bomb loops are really the lifeblood of this character. Clearly, you just chuck bombs out. So you can achieve that in a number of ways. Typically, you're going to be doing something like a string into the goo, and then you're going to start bomb looping people. But the main idea is that you want to be able to throw a bomb out, hit your opponent, throw another bomb out, hit your opponent into that bomb, keep throwing bombs out, right? That's literally just what a bomb loop is. So when you do that, there's a number of ways to do it. Some of them are a bit harder than others, right? When you bomb loop people from full screen like this, you have to have really good timing on all of your bombs here so that they don't, go too high up and such. And then you set up a bomb again and keep them in the vortex afterwards. So that kind of a bomb loop can be a little hard, but her most generic ones I can show you are doing any string into the goo, and you either do teleport or you just do a far bomb, which is down, back, forward too. So you're either going to do teleport or you're going to do a far bomb. And, just depending on the direction you want them to go in, maybe towards a corner, probably. So depending on that, that will change it up a little bit. But typically, any single string you have into goo, and you throw a bomb out, and you plus afterwards, plus enough to throw another bomb out, and you keep throwing another bomb out, throw another bomb out. So the ways you achieve that is by, like this, right? 2-1 is very plus, and it bounces them into a bomb. Jump 1-2 is also very plus, bounces them into a bomb. And then, like so, it's very plus. Your ender is very plus with 1-1-2, so you get to roll another bomb out. So the gist of it is, do things that will push them into a bomb. The bomb pops them up, and while they're being popped up, you chuck out another bomb. So if this is a little too hard for you, that's okay, because you'll get better at it anyways. But you don't have to do stuff like pop up into pop up into pop up into pop up and really time your bombs that way. You can do simple stuff like this, where you just do like a forward 2, and you special cancel a bomb from forward 2. Let me actually do it properly. Just like that, and you can bomb loop that way. And that's very, very simple, very, very easy. Obviously be mindful of where they are, because forward 2 is doesn't really have a lot of pushback compared to something like 2-1. But that is really all I have to say for bomb looping. It's pretty simple. It's a lot simpler than you'd think. There's multiple ways to do it. You can just do like, button into special cancel into another bomb. and then you can do stuff like that. And it's very easy. So that's the gist of bomb looping. You can either pop people up into a bomb, or you can go ahead and do specials and then special cancel into a bomb while you have another bomb set up like this. Just like that. It's very simple. So that's bomb looping in a nutshell. It's not too complicated. It's actually pretty easy in this game. And then you can get really crazy with it with some of her kicks that push people full screen, like I keep saying with this one. I keep showing it off. I really like this combo. It's a lot of fun. And it looks pretty cool. But like, you can get crazy with stuff like that. And bomb loop from anywhere. So you will get to that skill level. Well, it's not really a skill level. It's more just knowledge and execution. And that's very easy. So you will get there to where you're going to be able to make some crazy ass bomb loops that last for like, I don't know, 10 seconds minimum. Eventually you'll get there. So yeah, that's it for bomb loops. Very simple stuff. Very, very fun stuff. The more important things about bomb loops is vortexing your opponent. So that's just bomb looping on block. I briefly touched on it earlier. You want to do a combo, end that combo with a bomb setup so they are forced to block the bomb so that you can hit them with a throw, right? Like this. You hit them with a throw and then you get to put them into another bomb setup afterwards after you do a little combo. So that's really important as well. And obviously using your teleport to set up more bombs in the vortex like so. And just constantly alternating between regular rolled out bomb into a bomb from teleport. Maybe you make the next bomb a dud and then throw them into a real bomb, so on and so forth. Just get really tricky with it. It's pretty simple. And that'll be it for bomb loops. So now I'm going to go into some Kameo recommendations. So any Kameo that gives you a low, and on top of that a safe for plus frame low, is pretty good with Cyrax because you already have so many overheads that you can mix people up with overhead low. And if it's a very, very plus frame low, then you know you can chuck bombs out possibly, and if you get hit by the low, then you definitely get a bomb, right? Just like that. And then you can start vortexing people. So having some Kameo that can give you a low or some delayed mid is really good for her overheads, because her overheads are essentially all unsafe except for forward 2-1. So you can play her 50-50 like that with overhead low. And if they get hit by overhead or low, then you get a bomb setup afterwards. So that's pretty good. You can use characters like Sonya or Janet for combos and getting big damage while you're bomb looping people because she has a ton of pop-ups, right? So Sonya and Janet are very good at that because they're ambushes, loop people in the air, they jump up and they hit them in the air while you're setting up bombs. Tremor is actually pretty decent as well, especially with your back one. Back one, you call in Tremor and he can do an uppercut, he can do ground pound, or whatever it's called, earthquake. That's pretty good. So there's a lot with Cyrax when it comes to cameos, because she's not cameo dependent on anything at all, really. Sure, she's a little low damage, right? But it's a good thing she's low damage, because if she weren't low damage, she'd be absolutely busted. So cameos don't really have an effect on her overall damage. Like, the most she'll really be able to get that I've found is like 40% with like Jax. I'm sure some people have found like crazy 50% stuff that I am just unaware of. But overall, she is not cameo reliant at all. Her bombs are so strong in this game, and they're pretty easy to set up as well. So hitting 30 to 35% without a cameo, without having to spend meter from every string, that's crazy. So you don't need a cameo to do crazy combos, but cameos can add some damage to her. But overall, not cameo reliant at all, so you can be free with whatever cameo you want to pick. I like Motaro because I like doing stuff like this and using that teleport to get away instead of having to do enhanced teleport. If I'm in the corner, I can just do a Motaro far teleport. And guess what? I'm all the way across the screen again. I can start chucking bombs. You do Kung Lao, set up low hats, do a lot of low overhead, hard to blockables, and stuff like that. There's just a lot of ways to play her with other cameos. She's very, very versatile. So just pick who you want, really, is what I'm saying, because she doesn't really need a cameo to work. If you pick Serena, then you can do stuff like back 3-3 into Serena Blades, into back 3-3 Serena Blades, into net, into bomb setup, and bomb loop afterwards, and you'll get like 40, like close to 50%. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this guide for this video. I'm gonna show some combos now afterwards, after this little closing section. So Cyrax, overall, very strong character. Doesn't need a cameo to work. She can do a lot of stuff. Really stagger your strings. Make sure you're not doing unsafe stuff all the time, because then you are gonna have a bad time with her. And always have bombs set up. And if you land a hit on your opponent, end your combos a little bit early so you can get bombs set up on your opponent, because once you do get bombs set up on your opponent, there's nothing they can do. They basically have to armor. And just like that, you're draining their meter pretty fast because they have to armor. So very good character in that regard. Just end things early. Have a bomb down. Always have a bomb down, because that's when she's at her strongest. If you don't have any bombs down, you are at your weakest. So constantly have bombs everywhere. And if you do something that's super plus, like the enhanced down back 4, just chuck as many bombs as possible and just force them to block however many you want. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this guide. I'm gonna show some combos now. I hope this helped, and thanks for watching.